Alright, welcome back to another D&D movie time. And today, we'll be watching the movie that's next to Cora. But she doesn't... No. That's next week. You're familiar, you know, in Stargate, we're getting close to the end, right?
Yeah.
And what has been a big focus of Stargate since they've met the Ori? Spoiler alert if you haven't watched the Stargate TV show yet, by the way. How about Merlin, King Arthur, the Sword Excalibur?
Yeah.
Well, what have I told you? Tonight's movie is called Sword in the Stone. And it's a Disney version of Merlin, King Arthur, and the Knights of the Round Table, blah, 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 all that stuff. So, we play Lorcana, and some of the most powerful cards in purple are Merlin and Mab from this movie. So, besides what you've seen on Stargate, what else do you know about the Sword in the Stone?
It's a sword in stone?
Yeah? Do you know the purpose of it, though?
I don't know.
Alright, well, this is one I saw a couple times as a child. I think I've watched it maybe 1 or 2 times since. Not one of my particularly big favorites, but I remember enjoying this, so we'll see how I feel after watching Sword in the Stone by Disney. See you after the movie.
Bye.
Walt Disney's legendary classic, The Sword in the Stone, on a new 45th anniversary edition DVD. The timeless story of King Arthur.
A sword?
And his wizard Merlin.
You'll become a great legend.
Who teaches him the secrets of the sea, the sky, and the forest. Filled with magical extras, including the all-new Merlin's Magical Academy game, animated shorts, and more. Experience the amazing adventure as Arthur battles against evil.
Ma'am, what are you up to? She was going to destroy me.
And discovers his destiny. Walt Disney's The Sword in the Stone 45th Anniversary Edition. Now on Disney DVD.
Alright, so we just finished Disney's The Sword in the Stone. What was this movie about, Cora?
It was basically about a kid named Arthur that got called Walt a lot.
Wart.
And a wizard was going to teach him how to be... Actually, it was just going to teach him. I forgot about what.
Well, he was teaching him so that the boy could use knowledge instead of just living with the hand that life dealt him. And he wanted the kid to grow up and be educated because he was supposed to lead this kid to his destiny, because we actually don't find out what his name is until the very end. They just keep calling him Mort all the time. But then the kid becomes a squire for the knight family he's kind of living with. And he forgot the sword back at the tavern, at the inn. So he freaks out and he pulls the sword from the stone. And nobody believes him, so they make him prove it.
And then the odd decide to go ahead and grab it because his father shoves it back in. And then
but nobody can take it out.
Yeah, and only King Arthur can. And I wish the story was true, but if it actually was somehow, which kind of doesn't because wizards don't exist, unfortunately.
How do you know?
You don't see them in real books.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure King Arthur will mention a wizard helping him.
He did. There's a lot of mentions of King Arthur and Merlin. There's lots of movies, lots of books. Even your daddy's book has Merlin in it.
It does?
And I bring up King Arthur from time to time.
Well, sponsor your book at sponsor time. Anyways, just get on with the movie.
We already saw the movie.
Okay, then sponsor time then.
So, anyways, so yeah, that's basically the movie. Not a whole lot to it. Just basically Merlin teaching Wart different lessons. And they all combinate to the story of King Arthur, of him becoming king. So I don't feel like this is going to be a terribly long review. So we're going to go ahead, take our quick break. And when we come back, we will give our final scores and thoughts.
Bye.
For thousands of years, the world has been protected by the Guardian of Light, or as he is more commonly known, Santa Claus. Over the centuries, factors such as fear and prejudice, greed and jealousy, misunderstandings, betrayal and war have segregated most humans from the magical world of elves, fairies, wizards, and the like. This has resulted in many misconceptions and generalizations of the true nature of Santa and his world.
This 6-book series by Sean Connaughton begins as the current of a long series of guardians is murdered by a group of monstrous enemies recently escaped from an enchanted South Pole prison. These creatures are loyal to the darkness, an evil force determined to exterminate the light in order to enslave all creatures of the world.
Shane Connor, an average young man, suddenly finds himself being trained as the new guardian. As he adapts to his new life among fantastic creatures, he goes on an adventurous quest with a legendary wizard for the ultimate weapon to use against the darkness, and faces murderous enemies like Rasputin, Morgana Le Fay, Krampus, and many more.
Along with his best friend Joe Gomez, Shane encounters politics, history, mysterious murders, new loves, his own hidden past, and racial dynamics among the fantasy races that turn out to be all too real. Their adventures reveal the true nature of the world and challenge the current state of how all races interact.
This series expertly melds myths, legends, history, faiths, folklore, and secret societies into a fascinating, cohesive, comprehensive world of wonder and magic.
From Atlantis to Olympus, from Hades to the moon, and from broomstick races to Christmas deadlines, join the new Santa Claus on his amazing journey. But beware, will Shane's quest achieve his ultimate goal of destroying the darkness and preserving the light of the world? Or is he actually playing right into a plot by dark forces that will result in his, and our, ultimate doom?
So make your list and check it twice for the Guardian of Light book series. Download your audiobook or ebook today from Audible, Amazon, or iTunes.
Alright, Cora, starting with you. Disney's The Sword in the Stone. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this movie?
10 out of 10. It was pretty good. And before you ask, my favorite scene was probably when, like, the witch was like, I didn't say no purple dragons, did I? Because she said, and no made up stuff with pink dragon. Because she turned into a purple dragon.
Yeah. So, basically the
wizards...
wizards...
hey, she's kind of followed by the rules.
The wizard's duel was your favorite part?
Yeah. It's actually kind of funny.
I thought you would have picked, like, the scene with the squirrels. When the girl squirrel is trying to chase him around and be with him.
It's actually kind of weird, though.
Well, the squirrel didn't know that he wasn't a squirrel. He looked like a squirrel. He smelled like a squirrel. To him, or I mean to her, that's just another squirrel. Anyways, Any other favorite things or things you really liked? I'm surprised you gave this a 10 out of 10. I honestly expected like maybe an 8, possibly a 9.
What, you gonna give it an 8?
We'll find out when I get my score. Any other things you really like about this one?
Me.
No? Alright, then moving on to my score on a scale of 1 to 10. I would give The Sword in the Stone probably a 6 out of 10. It's well done. I do like the music, although the animation style and the music style of this movie is very, like, similar to Robin Hood or Sleeping Beauty. There's not a lot of difference in the animation style, in my opinion.
Come on, of course it's not. We're talking about.
They're also the stories, in my opinion. Cora, these are my thoughts.
I know.
I let you say your thoughts. I let you get out what you wanted about the movie and what you liked or didn't like.
I know, I'm just letting
You said it was a 10 out of 10. I'm not disagreeing. I have my own thoughts.
I know, but this is all classic. Of course, they have to stick to cartoon. They didn't have 3D animation yet.
I understand that, and I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's very similar. Like, they could have been made in the exact same year as the others that I mentioned. Anyways, moving on. The story, for me, it was okay. It wasn't, like, great. I think that it's fine for what it is, but it wasn't enough to really hold my interest deeply. Being that A, I've seen it before, B, it's just kind of like, oh, you're going to learn about this, you're going to learn about this, you're going to learn about this, and then we get something near the end that brings it all together, and it's not even like really the rest of the movie mattered. Because they still would have made him king as long as he pulled the sword from the stone. It's not like actually learning anything actually changed. I mean, that might change the character into what he could do one day. But right there in the now, that wasn't the reason he pulled the sword from the stone. He was always going to pull the sword from the stone. So.
D?
So.
I mean, C? What's C?
I'm not A, B, and C or anything. I'm just naming off things.
You just said A, whatever, B, whatever. Now I'm looking for a C.
I don't know what he said there has to be a C. Anyways,
Correct.
moving on. That doesn't mean I'm giving 26 reasons why I didn't like or dislike the movie, you know. But yeah, I have seen this, like I said, once or twice. My favorite part is probably the same as Korra the Wizard's Duel. In fact, I think that's everybody's favorite part because that's where we get probably the most excitement. I mean, basically, we had 2 versions of, well, technically 3, because there's this reoccurring wolf that keeps popping up through the movie. But then we have a barracuda that chases after him when he's a fish. Then he gets chased after when he's a bird by a hawk. And when he's a squirrel, I mean, that's kind of a 4th. Maybe he's getting chased by a girl squirrel. But that squirrel doesn't want to kill him, at least.
Yeah,
at least not with...
But the girl squirrel probably want him to save him forever.
But yeah, that's why. It's just, story-wise, there's not a lot to it. And it did make me, if anything, really want to watch a movie called The Black Cauldron, which I have seen before, and I'd love to review that, but I haven't seen it on Blu-ray yet, so. That is going to go ahead and wrap up this D&D Movie Time. Next week, we will probably be doing Lion King, and I might be making a special announcement when we air that episode. So, if you are interested in maybe a special announcement, be sure to check back with us next week when we review The Lion King. Until then, we'll see you later.
Bye.